defense.
Coordinators that we've ever had in here, and I just wish the timing with everything that happened in your life, that the way you turned the team around and the team stood beside you, I just feel like you just are just an unbelievable man and a person, and does a fantastic job. And I just had one question. I won't stay on here very long, but as far as talking about Odom, do we have any draft picks that you feel that we got in here this year that possibly could be starters as far as on the defense? And as far as the ratings, as far as on the defense, how do you predict that as far as how you feel we did? And thank you very much, and I hope you do well again this year. I think the world of you.
Well, thank you, Mark, for all the kind words. And first of all, let me say that the city of Cincinnati has been fantastic to me. The fans have been really super supportive. I know how fast that changes, but so far so good. Thanks for the comment about the head coach. We have a tremendous head coach here too in Marvin. He does a terrific job. Yeah, as far as the question is with the players, you know, it's really hard to tell how fast a guy will develop. I don't know if we'll have anybody come in and be starters this year, but I think they'll work their way into getting to that spot. But you never really know until you get on the field and you get to them with pads on. And so, you know, we did our off-season study, the defensive coaches, and really the defensive coaches, you know, right now everybody's talking about me, but really, you know, the Kevin Coyles and Jeff Fitzgerald and Jay Hayes and Louis Chofie, those guys are doing most of the work and most of the coaching. I'm just kind of overseeing things. So they're doing a good job. But when we went back and looked at the statistics and the plays from this past season, you know, I felt really good about where we're at, how we're doing things. We don't make very many mistakes. We may not be real pretty all the time, but we play real hard, and we make it a tough day for the offense. And that's really all I wanted to do when I first came in here, was make sure that we're fundamentally sound, we do things right, and we don't give up cheap plays. And for the most part, we haven't done any of that. So I felt good about it, and hopefully, I think with the third year in the system, and I also feel like the players that we have returning, even though we are playing a harder schedule, I feel like, you know, we've got a chance to be pretty good again.
The way the rules makers do it each year, is it becoming tougher and tougher and tougher to be a defense and do it the way you like to do it, aggressively and everything? I mean, let's admit it, the NFL is built around offensive firepower.
Right. We just had an officials meeting and talking about the rule changes for this next year, and you know, you can't launch into an offensive player now. I mean, you know, a lot of little bitty things that'll go on, but you know, we just play by the rules, and hopefully, and that's one of the things I'm proud of defensively too. You know, there's a lot of guys that will go and they'll take a bunch of cheap shots on people. We're not a cheap shot team. We do things right. We don't get very many penalties. We had a couple too many offsides that we jumped offsides a couple times last year. But for the most part, you know, we don't make it easy for the offense. And typically, when you give up a penalty on defense, it usually ends up in some kind of score, a field goal or a touchdown.
We already talked about Antoine Odom. Tom from Bridgetown asked about Ray Mawaluga, Rashad Jeanty, how they're coming through their injuries and doing right now.
Well, Rashad right now is still in a boot, and he's getting treatment every day. Mawaluga should be cleared for practice. I can't remember. It might be May 15th, something like that. So it shouldn't be too much longer. But he's doing good, and you know, they're two good guys. They're tough competitors and guys that I like to have on our team. Okay.
Still more to come with Mike Zimmer in just a minute. Are you a Cubs fan?
No, White Sox.
You're a White Sox fan?
I don't like the Cubs.
All right.
No.
What am I missing? Asked Carl. He says, my non-professional opinion is that the prevent defense does not prevent much, only delays a score. What's the real value of the prevent defense?
Well, there's certain situations, and I don't know what you call a prevent defense, rushing three guys, or you know, just playing soft coverage, and that's really not in my mentality. But I think there's certain times that you do play it, but it's really few and far between, in my opinion.
Let's go to Nick in Edgewood. Nick, how are you tonight?
How you doing, Pop?
Okay.
Coach?
Hi, Nick.
I think the Bengals defense this year is going to be like the '88 Bengals defense, and I think if Pac-Man Jones will bring back the SWAT team.
Well, you could hope that anyway. Well, the '88 team had David Fulcher. You probably met all these guys.
Yeah.
And Eric Thomas and stuff. It was a good defense. And
Yeah.
we went Crum Ryan, those boys, and they went to the Super Bowl 23.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well,
You could use that kind of defense, couldn't you?
You bet. We're trying to be the best, whatever that is. I don't know, but we want to be the best.
Some of the emailers are asking about some of the draft picks, and let's start with Carlos Dunlap and what you saw in him and what you can expect reasonably from a guy just out of school like that.
Well, you know, Carlos, obviously he's got a lot of height to him. He's got extremely long arms. He's 6'6", like 277, I want to say. We kind of anticipate, I mean, he's a really good athlete. We kind of anticipate him maybe being able to move around, maybe rush some from the inside, some from the outside. I was actually pretty impressed with him in the rookie mini camp that we had. He moves good. He's a good athlete. He listens intently, and hopefully we can get, you know, I think he's got to get a little bit stronger, but hopefully we can get him playing and playing soon.
Now, Brandon G. is a cornerback you got out of Wake Forest. Seems like he has good speed, good size, and the only knock on him is he didn't have a lot of interceptions in college.
Yeah, that was, he's got all the measurables. Now, whether or not he can put that together and compete all the time, line up and challenge these receivers, and he's a smart kid too, so hopefully we can get him playing and understand how we want him to do it, and then from there he has to go out and do it for himself.
In round 4, you picked up Geno Atkins, a defensive lineman out of Georgia. I guess most people consider him undersized, although, boy, I'd love to be 6'2". And but I guess for a defensive lineman, can he make it in this league?
Well, you know, he was the fastest defensive lineman, and G was the fastest corner at the combine. But he's 6'2", he's 293 pounds, I think is what he was. He's very strong. He did like 33 on the bench, bench 225, 33 times. He was the best pass rusher at the Senior Bowl, and we kind of had our eye on him, you know, talking about this pass rush thing again. As an inside pass rusher, he's during rookie mini camp, you could see how the difference in his speed. You know, I've had some undersized guys like that before. Leroy Glover, who had a bunch of sacks and played well for us, and so we're just hoping that this nucleus of guys can come in and help us in some situations and maybe bode well for the future.
Okay, also in round 4, Roderick McElroy from Texas, a linebacker.
Yeah, now McElroy's a little bit different. He's a big guy, he's thick. He doesn't run he wasn't the fastest linebacker at the combine, but he is thick. He made a lot of tackles last 2 years at Texas. I believe he led their team in tackles. And so unfortunately he got hurt the last day there at minicamp, but you know, it's a little bit harder for the linebacker to come in and learn everything because there's so many coverage adjustments and that, and so but we feel good about him also.
A few of these guys are regarded as really smart guys too. They've done well in school, they've done well on testing. Is that something that is becoming more of a part of the assessment process, or has that always been part of it?
Well, it's actually really true. You know, Coach Parcells, I stole a statement from him. He used to say, if you draft a dumb guy, you got to play with a dumb guy. You know, and dumb guys make mistakes. So the more
it's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Hey, so more smart guys you got, the better it is.
Yeah, very good. The other thing is with Roger Goodell, the commissioner's emphasis on good character. Does it change the way you assess as you go out and look at kids and think of maybe not even considering some kids that you would have considered 5 years ago?
Yeah, we really do. You know, there's quite a few players that are on the draft board initially that when we go and we talk about their background and those things, they're gone off the board, and so you don't have any interest in taking them whatsoever.
Okay, still more.